Welcome to Ask GMBN, the weekly show where we try and answer your questions sent in the comments section below these videos and using the hashtag AskGMBN on social media.
Yeah, and it's all about questions, so let's get right into it. I've got a question for you, Neil, here from Jeremy Westbrook. Hey guys, I've noticed that when I do a big ride on one day, then try to ride the next day, I tend to struggle a little bit. Any tips?
Well, yeah, you're going to be tired, of course, but recovery, diet, really important. Make sure you're fueling the ride as well as eating some stuff after, like protein. It's really important. Carbohydrates as well. Drinking plenty of stuff. Recovery is really important.
Yeah. One really good way to look at this is think of it as a tripod, which is 3 legs. I nearly put down 4 then. One's nutrition, one is training, and the other is rest. And if you take one of those away, the whole thing falls over. So think of those things.
That's brilliant.
Training, nutrition, and rest. It's important.
I have to remember that.
Yeah.
Right, next question from Nua Ewans. Sorry, I mispronounced her name. Is magpie season in Australia? I've been swooped many times. One even tried to kill me. What can I do about being swooped?
I've never heard of this before.
I've heard of this.
I fear we may not be qualified to answer. This might be the first question we can't answer.
I've seen videos of these magpies coming down and hitting people on the back of the head. I don't know. Leave us your suggestions in the comments down below.
Yeah, maybe you guys can help us out here because I've got nothing.
No.
Got nothing on magpies. Duck is my suggestion. Dara asks, since it's been hardtail week recently, I wanted to ask a question about putting some 120mm forks on his bike or putting a dropper seat post on it. Now, I'm not sure if he's asking, Neil, if he should do one or the other, or both's a good idea, but what are your thoughts?
It depends what fork you've got on there already. 120mm will be fine, I would think, for a hardtail. They'd probably run 100 to 140, I would think, for a hardtail. Drop seat post, definitely. He says he's intending to race enduro, so I would think the best upgrade would probably be a drop seat post.
Yeah, drop seat post transforms the bike, doesn't it?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, Lance Quinn, how important is head angle? He's looking into getting into getting an all-mountain bike that will ride some downhills, not using uplifts, and what angle should he be looking at?
Yeah, but for enduro, I would say something about 66 degrees. My Canyon Strive is about that. So the lower the number, the slacker it is, and the slacker the head angle, the more stable the bike will be. At high speeds, slightly less agile, so you don't want to go too slack, but yeah, 66-ish, I would probably say.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a trend over the last few years of head angles getting slightly slacker, longer wheelbase.
Yeah.
Back in the day, my trials bike used to have a 74 head angle.
Like that.
Didn't want to go down any hills on that one.
No.
Yeah, it was not cool.
Very good for trials, I suppose.
It was all right for trials. Unfortunately, I was on the bike, and that didn't help. But
excellent.
Yeah, talking of geometry, let's have a little look at our bike geometry video that tells you about head angle and bottom bracket heights.
The head angle is actually that angle of your head tube that affects the angle of your fork, obviously, and that will make a difference to how a bike turns and how it feels at speed. A steep head angle will feel very agile but can become a little bit twitchy. A slacker head angle will feel much more stable at speed, but can feel a little bit lazy at low speeds.
Okay, next question is from Finn Slack, and he's recently bought a new Cannondale with a Fox Diode RT2 shock, and it's around 35% sag when he sits on it, but he can bottom it out when he's pumping it.
Yeah, I would say make it a little bit harder, so put a bit more air in there. I would recommend somewhere between 25 and 30% sag, and if you're still bottoming it out too often, then I would then think about changing the air volume spacer in the shock to make it more progressive or getting it revalved.
Cool, good advice.
We've got a few questions about the kit we use actually. Kevin Angelo Dela Cruz asks, what is Scottys height and bike frame size?
Well, Scotty Lockland is 6'2"-ish.
He's pretty tall.
Yeah, he's a pretty tall dude. He's riding a large or sometimes even an XL frame. My son actually is 6'2", and he's just got an XL frame and loves it. Really great geometry, looks awesome on it. Lots of space to ride. So, yeah, for that sort of height, large or XL.
Next question is from Claudio Hutu, is asking about the pump that I used in the tubeless sealant tips video.
What, this pump here, Neil?
This is the one. It's a whopper. It's the Toe Peak Jobo booster. And the great thing about this is you charge it up with the pump and it gives you a blast.
I could have done my hair with that this morning. That's actually a lot more air than I was expecting.
Don't need a hairdryer either.
Yeah, Justin Belvier says, does Neil really have all those bikes? He said he spotted you on your Scott and your Canyon, GT. You've always seemed to have really nice bikes. Are they all yours, or are you just borrowing them?
I am just borrowing them. I do have quite a few bikes. We do loads of different videos here. That's my excuse. So we get lent the bikes, yeah. Love it.
Talking about Magpies earlier on, I think we've got a bike Magpie just here.
Perks of the job, should we say.
Yeah. GX Med says, what is the blue jump bike you rode in the video we were out street riding?
That is a Canyon stitched 720 hardtail.
Yeah, nice bike.
Oh, I love the colour of it as well.
Lot of fun.
Okay, that's enough about our kit. Next question comes from Alex Hemingway. Actually, he's currently battling with sealing the valve against the rim with rim tape on his tubeless setup. And he's asking, what is the best way to tape the rim and get the valve sealed? He's tried cutting a small hole and pushing it through, or using a red hot skewer. Yeah, you have to be a bit careful doing this. If you try and make a hole with a blade or something, it can sort of spread. Once you put the valve through, it can keep spreading and it won't seal. So I always overlap the rim tape. So start from the valve and go round and over. So you've got 2 sets of rim tape over the valve. And then I just use the red hot skewer thing. I've got a little pick, tiny little pick, heat it up with a lighter and just poke it through so that when you push the valve through, it goes as small a hole as possible.
Oh, tubeless tyres are tech, aren't they?
I quite like it. It's good fun.
I've got this image of Alex just covered in sealant in a room, hot pokers.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think it's as hard as we make out. It's just, there's a few little techniques.
And talking about tubeless tyres, why don't we take a look at our how to seat a tubeless tyre video.
Chamber's now pumped up to 160 psi or 11 bar of pressure, and I just flip the switch to inflate. Boom, it's done it.
Okay, it's time for the quick fire round where the questions are going to come thick and fast, Neil. And here's the first one from Coco Laws, translating from Rockshos, less minus means towards bunny fast and more plus compression means towards turtle slow end of the range, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Dylan Taylor, if you put wider bars on your bike, do you have to extend your cables?
Occasionally, it depends how much wider they are and how tight your cables are already. But yes, can be one of the pains of doing it, actually.
Okay, Alex Calvera, hi there. My question is about 27.5 plus bikes. Are they much slower on flat, smooth surfaces than 27.5 standard tyre size? Or is there any difference at all? So
they're 3 inches wide compared to 2.2 whatever. So they are a lot wider, a lot deeper. But according to one manufacturer, they're 1% slower rolling resistance. So not really. I actually find it very hard to notice that they are slower. Yeah. So
they're a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. That's what I judge it on.
Yeah.
Fun factor.
Exactly.
It's time for Correct Me If I'm Wrong, and we're going to start with this video from Rodrigo Almendro, who wanted to know how he could get a bit more air and was wondering, Neil, is it to do with his 29-inch wheel bike? Now, that got me thinking, is it? But you've solved it.
No, I don't think so. I think this is all about timing. Technique doesn't look bad, so the pump looks good, but if you look at the pump, it's 2 bike lengths before he hits the takeoff.
Too soon.
Yep, so leave it all later. You need to pump into the transition of flat to up, and then everything else will go on later as well. So it's all about technique and timing. You've got the technique, now try and get the timing right so you're doing it exactly on the takeoff, and then you'll go up.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons that happens a little bit is you're a bit scared about what that pump is going to create. And you're trying to go, just teeter at it like, oh, how's it going to work? But just leave it a bit longer.
It's really, really common that, by the way. Yeah. Keep sending your videos to ask@gmbn.com and we'll take a look at them. That's it for this week's Ask GMBN, but you should definitely stay and watch some more videos. And if you click over here, that'll take you through to the full Hardtail Week playlist from last week.
And if you click just here, you can see our video on how to fit handlebars.
Click on the GMBN logo to subscribe, it's totally free.
And if you want to, and I think you should, give us a thumbs up like.